Hey everyone, I'm Jade Alberts from Calgary, Alberta. I'm a business strategist and my passion is helping small businesses grow and succeed. Sharing knowledge and stories is why I started Telling It Like It Is Facebook Live, and I'm proud that Rogers Insurance is a sponsor because they take a human approach to insurance and are the only independent employee brokerage in Canada. Stay tuned for details on how you can get exclusive insurance discounts for your business. Today's Telling It Like It Is guest is George Handley from Healthy Heart Sleep Company. George, thank you for joining me, and how are you today?
Well, thanks, Jade, for having me. I'm doing pretty darn good. I can't complain. It's actually a great day.
It is a great day. It's a beautiful Wednesday. Kids are back in school. Everyone seems to be happy, and away we go. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
I know we've had a little more technical difficulties here, but sometimes be live, but I don't know what they're doing. Anyways, we live and we adapt, and we kind of just take it from there. So
that's how it is in business.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll give a brief introduction here for George, and then we will get right into it. George has been a registered respiratory therapist since 1998. He has worked at Foothills Hospital in the ICU and the ER. His career led him to Rocky View Hospital and then to the Peter Lougheed Hospital. It was during his time here that he became a supervisor for the respiratory therapy clinic. The next step in his career took him to research at the Foothills Hospital, looking at the effects of hypothermia on traumatic brain injury. After this phase, his respiratory career, he fell into the world of sleep. George found passion for treating sleep apnea. It was in 2008 that he started Healthy Heart Sleep Company, and he will be sometime heard saying, a great day starts with a great night. He loves to see the positive change in people who have for so long suffered from poor sleep. George is once again involved in the area of research in sleep apnea, of course, this time. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive to get where you are, George. And what I really want to focus on is recently, you've had a successful company, you've seen it grow. Why did you start Healthy Heart Sleep Company, and what, more importantly, made you decide to open up a second location?
Well, first off, starting the business, I think I was probably like a lot of people working, going to the job, and you sometimes think, I could do this differently. Not necessarily better per se, but differently, serve a different perhaps market. And so that's why I started it. And, as you know, you take a bit of a gamble and you stick to your plan, and it can turn out, in which it has for us. And so we've been fortunate. So it's been 10 years. And then this year, we actually opened up a second location. And the reason for that is, well, Calgary is growing. And I think to continue serving the way we have to grow with it. So we have a location in the north. We opened this one in the south, and it's been going great.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, to open a second location takes, I know yourself and your partner, Kristen, it takes a lot of, a little more risk, a little more thought. Yeah. Well, what was your thought process, to say, yes, I know we're growing. Yes, we're bigger, but take us through some of that thought process of, how you decided it to, how you actually finally executed it.
Well, we've been approached by some of our referral sources, saying, hey, if you guys were in the south, we could send you a lot more referrals. Let's face it, in Calgary, people who live in the south like to stick to the south. People live in the north like to stick to the north. And so we thought, okay, let's explore this a little bit deeper. And so we started to do some research on where is there some available space for lease, not just any space, but something that has good visibility and has room for us to grow within that space as well. So we found that. And then the next thing we had to come up with, okay, we got the space, we want to do this, we had to come up with a game plan. What are we going to do? How are you going to fund it? How are you going to build out the space? How are you going to market to make that space grow as well? So Kristen and I, who I always say she's much smarter than I am, sat down and we came up with a plan. That's what I say to people. You come up with a plan and stick to it. So we did our plan. and we stuck to it. I'm not going to say it was wrinkle-free. We did have a few little hiccups, but we stuck to it, and it came to fruition.
Well, that's great. I mean, you obviously, a lot of people, everybody other than Richard Branson says you need an actual business plan, and that's great. And let's maybe talk about those hiccups. How did you, with those struggles, hiccups, how did you overcome them? How did you get you over the hump to, were there any setbacks because of that? And how long did it take you to, did those setbacks take to, before you opened?
Well, I have to say, with taking a space that is just open and then building it out, we came up with a drawing for it, a plan, and then of course, you take that and you have to get city approval, all this sort of stuff, landlord approval. And so our hiccups were meeting a couple of codes. And, that's what I say to people, make sure when you have your plan that you do meet all the codes. We didn't have any infraction really as to any codes, just a couple little physical things with the layout. For example, we had to move one wall, probably I think it was 8 inches to properly allow for wheelchair access. So then you have to go back to your person who does your drawings and redo that and then resubmit things. And then as you're building out the space, working with tradespeople, and they're all very good, and then somebody will come up with, we have one problem here. And so I guess we had to be patient. There were points where, gosh, let's just get this done. Just finish building and let's get the doors open, because you do have, if you negotiate a lease, you can have some rent-free period, but that comes to an end. And if you are not ready to open up your doors, then you're going to lose money in the first little bit. So that was probably one of our biggest challenges, is trying to keep that on track. Also, your costs. You have this plan, you're going to do these materials, then all of a sudden somebody comes back and says, that's no longer available. And that happened to us. And so we had to go back and choose something else, and that delayed things as well for us. I think those were our biggest struggles, is staying patient with it and just playing it out.
Well, that's, I've walked a couple people through expansions, and even we did it with Nathan's and build outs and things like that. And they can be very difficult. And
yeah.
Sometimes doing business with a smile is very hard when you start dealing with expansion. So when it came to, I guess, finding your perfect second location, and I know you said you wanted to focus on the south. Was it, boom, there's my first one. I love this. I want it. This is the perfect location. Or how long did that take?
That actually took us longer than I thought it would. I thought, should be easy. When you sort of do a gross look at the market and see what's available out there, you think, should be easy. But once you go and you actually take a real look at some of the spaces, and you go through your mind going, okay, well, we can build it out this way or that way, and no, that won't work. Or perhaps the landlord was asking too much money. We had a couple of spots like that where the lease rate it just didn't seem to match the area. So we probably toured a good dozen places.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we did. And the funny thing is, the space that we do have now, when we first were approached with this, my initial reaction was, that's not going to work. And we looked at it, and we actually watched some of the pedestrian traffic and vehicular traffic that goes by. Yeah, and we were actually amazed at how many people actually went by. So that right there, one of our key things we needed was visibility. And a place I thought wouldn't have it, had it. The lease rate was favorable, and we had a clean slate to build out from. It was just a shell. So we were able to do what we wanted with it.
That's awesome. Everyone always says location, location, location. And and it is so important to take your time, as you said, not just saying, oh yeah, this is the first one. It doesn't matter if it's 3 or if it's 30. I mean, finding that perfect location is excellent. And even as you said, finding a blank slate to work on, you're able to design your own rooms, you're able to lay it out how you want, and that's just the best case scenario. So that's great. I mean, congratulations.
And we get a lot more walk-in traffic than we thought we would. So it's worked out really, really well.
Oh, great. That's good to hear. So I know, it's been 10 years ago since you opened your first location in Bridgeland.
Time flies.
Yes. And if you want to, the website for all you listeners, it's down. All you have to do is go in the comment section and click on it. It'll take you right to hhsleepco.ca. So let's talk a little bit about marketing and business development. How has it changed from, when you started 10 years ago to now focusing on a second location and driving business? How have you adapted?
Well, it has changed, actually. Surprisingly, in the 10 years, the social media presence now is so critical. I don't think you can do without it.
Yes.
People are internet savvy. We have people who call in and say, hey, I found you through Facebook, or I found you on the internet, and or I heard about you. But a lot of people are finding us on social media. So I have to say that's one of the biggest changes. Sorry, a bit of a frog in my throat. So our marketing, we market to physician groups and to the public a little bit directly. That's how we have been doing it, but actually going out to physician offices. Now with the social media, people may have seen the physician, but have said to the physician, hey, I've contacted Healthy Heart Sleep Company. I found them through Facebook or the web or whatever. I want you to refer me there. That is our biggest change in marketing, is focusing on that social media aspect.
No, it is a big part, and it's glad that it's glad that you're doing that. And one thing I brought up, or that you brought up, is one thing that I stress with a lot of people, and I truly believe in today's digital era, that we are losing that face-to-face contact, and hearing that you're out there getting in front of the doctors, building that relationship, really helps your referral business.
It does.
Yeah, and that's key. That is key. So I guess now that you've you got your second location, it seems that it's running smoothly. I'm sure it's going to grow over the next year or so. What's next for yourself and Kristen and Healthy Heart Sleep Company?
Well, it's going to be managing the growth. As I mentioned earlier, we seem to have more just walk-by traffic coming through our door.
Yeah.
And our referral sources also know we're down in the south. So just managing that growth and making sure that we're staying on top of it, that we're not losing people. One of the risks, if we grow too fast, then we don't get everybody seen in a timely fashion, and that turns people off. When people are ready to be seen, they want to be seen. So managing that growth and the people to help us with that, that's going to be the key thing. And just continue the marketing, not just the direct face-to-face with physician groups, but also the social media presence as well. I can't stress enough, I think that is going to be one of the main driving forces over the next few years for us.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's great. I mean, managing growth is very difficult, and I'm glad to hear that you have a plan for that. That is excellent.
Well, I'm sure you read that book, the E-Myth, the entrepreneurial myth. And one of the things the author wrote is people who have a business have to find that balance between working in the business and working on it. And if you don't have that balance, then you're going to lose out. And that's the tough thing to manage. Oh,
that is, in my opinion, the hardest thing that entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small business owners biggest problem is. They're wearing a lot of hats, and they don't know how to fix that balance where, you've got to get away. You got to go, whether it's swimming or playing squash or just even going for a run and listening to your music. You've got to get away. You got to exit yourself from your business just to keep your mind fresh and keep your family life. I mean, it's so important.
Yeah, and one of the things I guess I should say is finding the right people, even for the small things. Perhaps for example, have somebody do social media for you, have somebody for your IT. infrastructure, even if you're a small business, having somebody to take care of those issues for you I think is really, really important. You may be able to correct the problem yourself, but spend 3 hours doing it, whereas you can pay somebody 1 hour to get you back up and running much quickly.
That almost rolls into my next question that I ask everybody, but I mean, I'll just say, before I, ask you this question, but it is so true to focus on what you're good at, make sure you have the right people in place, and, farm out what you're not good at. So again, you focus on what you're good at.
Exactly.
So I guess, I'd like this maybe, I always ask for one piece of advice for small businesses, but I would like you to maybe take a little spin on this. And for those people that are going to watch this either live or when we start posting it, what would be your one piece of advice if someone's thinking about expanding into a second location? Maybe more of a focus on that, George.
Well, I think you can pretty much nail it down to it's the same thing as starting a new business almost, but you have the benefit of experience. You won't make the same mistakes you made perhaps when you first started out. But one of the key things I find is have your game plan, have your people in place to do the things that need to be done. Don't try and do everything yourself, and stick to the game plan.
Great.
If you start varying off from your plan, then you're going to throw a lot more variables into it. And I think that's where you're going to end up losing time and money.
Oh, valid. Very, very, very true. I truly, truly believe that. And that is excellent advice. Having a plan, following. I mean, as you said, in your thing, you might have to pivot off your plan a little bit here and there, but as long as you've got a plan, you've got it set, it's easier to pivot rather than to, just react and say, oh, what now? So that is excellent advice.
Exactly.
That is excellent. Yep. Well, I appreciate you taking time, George, out of your schedule and sitting down and sharing your knowledge. That is outstanding. You're the first person I've talked to that has expanded into a second location. So I think the information you have shared is priceless, and thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me, Jade. Appreciate it. It's a sunny day out there, so get out and enjoy the weather.
Oh, I got a networking lunch today, so that'll be great. So I'd like to, again, thank Rogers Insurance for partnering with me on this video. They are a Calgary-based family business. You can visit www.rogersinsurance.ca/Jade for any information. If you'd like to get a quote, please go there and check it out and take advantage of the discounts exclusively for my viewers. So until next week, thank you again, George, and I hope everybody has a great week.